I think that we're finally live. I think, because this is weird. So, sorry for all the technical difficulties, guys. I didn't even have time. I was going to do something with the Bagel Bites theme song. Chronicles of Tyria in the morning, evening. You can have Chronicles of Tyria at any time. I don't have that. So, in the true tradition of Saturday morning cartoons as I grew up knowing them, after these messages, we'll be right back. Alright, so, sorry for all of you that had to sit through all those technical difficulties. It would be the morning of the show that the stream software that I use decided to go to a new version that's in alpha test build that I had to learn how to use in the time that you're watching because everything was completely different. So, yeah, we're here. Me and Bromms.
Yes.
Welcome to episode number 85 of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, Guild Wars 2 podcast for fans, by fans. On this week's episode of CoT Podcast, it's a beautiful sunny day, a Saturday podcast, a beautiful day for a podcast. Would you watch us? Could you watch us? Won't you watch our podcast? Thank you. Thank you for that.
It was a little less sing-songy.
Yeah, I didn't realize what it was till about halfway through, and then I just gave up on it.
Right, that's all right.
I'm proud of it though. I'm glad. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for the stream image that you threw together right before we put this all on the air.
That's how we do.
So nice to see some of our European viewers that I know don't normally stay up to watch with us because we're on in the morning. Unfortunately, due to our technical difficulties, this is probably going to be a short show. That's just going to how it's work out. I got to be somewhere at 11:30, so we'll just see what happens. Other stuff is happening in the background here. Okay, that's working. Yay. Alright, so we actually have a meme this week. We received one from one of our fans, and the fan was Signet of Lame, I believe is the name, and this is the meme. Why can't I hold all these blade shards? And I've only done a little bit of Escape from Lion's Arch, but yeah, I could definitely see why that would be true, because
I think I've done it like 10 times, and I've got about a backpack full of those stupid things.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot. You get a lot of those. So,
Yep.
Yeah, but again, if you're watching us, or listening, I should say, to us on iTunes, and you want to watch us live, I would say almost every time we do it, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/ChroniclesOteria, except for this time where we did it Saturday morning at 10 a.m. as an attempt to see. I mean, like I said, if we get really good reception to this and a lot of people super like it, then we will try to do this maybe once a month. But for right now, that's how it goes. Twitch.tv/ChroniclesOteria, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Yeah, so we're just gonna roll through this because we don't have time to dilly-dally here. Bromms, do you have any shout-outs?
I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that came to watch us on Saturday morning, and all the people in Europe that usually don't get to watch us, but they can now. So hi, shout outs. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I'm really glad that we got a decent turnout this morning, and especially to all of you that it is Saturday morning that you got up to watch us on Saturday morning. I'm proud of you for getting up because it was rough for me this morning, and then it just got worse when I tried to stream it. So I have a shout out to George A. is the only name I have attached to this. And if you remember in the show that I was in the hotel not that long ago, where Bromms came in the after show, somebody linked us like a full living story recap, like Google Doc, and I finally found the link and I put it back in that show notes. But I'm gonna link it here again because it's super awesome and it recaps all of the living stories so far. It gives you a breakdown of all the characters. So if you haven't figured that out, I will link it again in the description here, and I just linked it there in the Twitch chat. So be sure to check that out if you're fuzzy on what happened so far, or you want to know, you just want a refresher, you can check that out. It's pretty awesome. Alright, we did get a bunch of, actually not a bunch, we got some mail. And I'm going to take the first one just because I can condense it down, because it's a lot of text. But it was from Rune Larkhart on transmuting things from soulbound to accountbound. And again, just for those of you who don't know, if you have something that is accountbound or soulbound to a character, you can use transmutation stones to then make that accountbound so that any of your characters can use it. It usually requires whatever the item is. Like if you wanted to do, say, like the different orders, like you're in the Vigil and you want Order of Whispers armor, you buy that armor on an Order of Whispers character, then you use the level 80 transmutation stones and transmute it to something white, like the regular white stuff you get from an armor smith, and then it makes it account bound, as long as you choose the skin and then like the stats for the white item. But Rune Lockhart brought to my attention for back pieces, because as you know, we've been getting a fair amount of back pieces.
A ton.
In almost any patch, there's usually 2 or 3 back pieces. And previously, the only way to really get a back piece that was soulbound to another character was to buy one of those backpack sets, like the Quaggan backpack set, because when you click it, it gives you the skin and then the white backstrap piece that you can then use to transmute any soulbound things. So you'd have to actually either spend a ton of in-game gold, or you'd have to spend gems to buy, you know, one of the backpack pieces, or, you know, to get Black Lion keys to get a backpack piece. But he brought to my attention that and it kind of ties into that blade shard thing I was just talking about. All of those, the spinal back pieces that you can make, you put the 4 pieces of the blueprints into the Mystic Forge, and then you combine that with iron ingots and some dust and blade shards, and it makes like a green level backpack piece. That backpack piece is actually account bound. So the lowest level green spinal backpack piece is account bound, so you can do that to get rid of your soulbound back pieces, and it doesn't cost you any money right now. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, and that's just much cheaper than trying to go and buy like a Quaggan backpack set or a Char backpack set, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Rune Lockhart, for bringing that to my attention. I know I have pretty much all the back pieces, and not having to split apart one of my Quaggan or Char sets to get the skin and then white backstrap pieces. And it, you know, right now the backpack the spinal backpack things are super cheap, so might as well buy the stuff up now. All right. Again, next one was from Son, who some of you again may recognize the name Son, from doing all the speed podcast, Doodle things, as well as something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit with our comic that we got going on. And I'm going to, again, I'm just going to link this because there's a lot there. Bromms, I think you dealt most with this was before, right when the worm patch came out, there was like Rytlock was supposed to be walking around.
Yeah, we tried to find them, but the only way you could see that event is if you were in an instance, or if you were in an overflow that had beaten the worms, and at that time there were like 2 ever, maybe. So it's like, you're never going to find it. Yeah.
And it turns out that wasn't actually the case. It wasn't supposed to be only if you beat it.
I kind of thought that might be, yeah, because I was like, they're going to save this for a few people. They got this. Yeah, anyway. I'm glad to hear that, but yeah.
Yeah, so Son found on the forums that one of the Ain't It Deads released the entire script for all of what Rytlock was supposed to say, and you were supposed to be able to see. There's actually references to Scarlet and stuff like that, so it's pretty neat. So I just linked that in the Twitch chat. I will link that in the description if you want to see what that was about. But Bromms, since I've been doing all the talking, do you want to read what we got from Stormborn via YouTube?
From Stormborn, yeah. We skipped Citrus Robot, by the way.
Did I? Oh, I totally did. You read that one.
Yeah, I'll read Citrus Robots.
I didn't highlight it, make it bold, so I missed it.
You know what? I was going to do that, and then I didn't. Yeah, so Citrus Robot last time was in our chat, and he was slightly intoxicated. So, anyway, he says, once again, I am sober. I'm sorry for the other night, but in my defense, the first podcast I watched introduced the drinking game. I wish Naveen the best luck, and as much as I will miss her, I know CoT is in safe hands. Go get them, Naveen. Yes. Now, what I wanted to talk about, how much this podcast has benefited me. I joined around the time of Flame and Frost, and I was still new to the game. The friends that had suggested the game to me soon stopped playing, and I was left on my own. Finding the game hard to learn on my own, I wasn't enjoying it. But then I found the podcast, and they were interesting, fun, and easy to watch. I spent the next weeks regaining my interest in the game and playing the older podcasts in the background. CoT showed me how Guild Wars could be great and how guilds should be. After joining so many that only care about numbers, it was amazing to be part of a community. Sadly, I'm part of the UK servers and could never join in with the guild events or contribute, but I was still welcomed. I slowly convinced friends to play and made new ones who already played. I've become one of the 3 leaders in a small guild and trying my best to make it as friendly and fair as CoT is, to give what you guys gave me to others and try my best to make this game better. Me and my friends in my humble guild beyond Tyria have so much thanks for CoT. So thank you to Naveen, thanks to Casey, thanks to lagywn, and thank you to Bromms, and thank you to everyone else for everything you've done and will do. That was really awesome, so just thank you very much. And yeah, I'm glad that you were able to come watch the podcast. I hope you still can. And
watching live right now.
Yes, awesome. Hey, Citrus, I hope you're not drunk this early.
Well, it's 3 p.m. So
was there?
It's 3 p.m. there right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right. In that case, carry on.
But did also say, P.S. I'm likely watching with my fellow players, the same ones that got me drunk last week, and I am likely drunk, and it is again their fault. But please forgive me and them. I will strain them and myself from drunk typing. But know you have Darfell, Kai, Feral Warden, Maple Bliss, and Beyond Tyria watching and following the example you set.
Awesome.
So
cool. Well, yeah. Drunk typing is awesome, so don't worry if you want to drunk type.
It was really fun to read it, so it's really okay.
It was hilarious. I am sober. Anyway.
Yeah, did you want to take the one from Stormborn as well?
Yeah, sure. Stormborn posted this on YouTube. I'm going to miss Naveen. All the best in your new endeavors. I'm feeling really sad I might never get enough heirlooms for either of the potion. Those piles of rubble are rubbish. I agree. I'm never getting enough.
Yeah. I'm at like 60-something, and I'm like doing the math, and I don't think it's possible for me to get 250 between now and Tuesday. Assuming that they go away on Tuesday, because they might not. but I'm kind of thinking they probably will. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're probably going to go away too, but I guess we'll see in a couple days.
Yeah. I think you can get 40 per day. So if I got like a bunch last night, so yeah, I couldn't do it. I don't think it's physically possible.
Yeah.
Unless I open like 1,000,000 bags and get them out of bags. But
I think you can get supply things from PvP now too, so you just do a ton of PvP.
I could do that. Gear up for the March 18th drop of glory.
Yep.
Alright, so next on to news, and that's pretty much just all we're going to talk about today, because there wasn't, as you know, a ton, because they don't do the release page, so there's not a lot of speculation. There is some, but yeah, here goes. Number one, biggest piece of news, I'm going to paste this link right here in the chat. chroniclesoftyria.com/comic. If you haven't seen it yet, you should go check that out. This is a project that's being spearheaded by myself and Son, our speed doodler, and we do have other people helping, but they're kind of so it is. But like we kind of put the whole initial thing together, and there's a video on YouTube kind of talking about that. But basically, we have a contest ongoing right now. It's going for about the next 3 weeks. And we are going to be releasing a weekly webcomic every week on Wednesday. New Comic Wednesday.
You should release a weekly webcomic daily.
Thank you, Bromms.
Sorry.
It's too early to deal with your shit. I can't.
I know.
But, yeah, so... wow, totally just derailed my train of thought. Right, so we have 2 of the characters are already created at this point, and we have the character bios for those characters are up, and there are 2 existing comic strips up as well, so you can kind of see what we're looking for, and the contest information is also on chroniclesoftyria.com, which is pretty, between that and the video, you should be able to figure out anything you would want to know. Questions. We have a FAQ at the bottom of the contest entry because we did get a couple of questions, and we've actually received submissions so far, so that's really exciting. It's not even 1 week and people are already sending stuff in. But yeah, go and check it out. Just so you know, the contest again will be going on for the next 3 weeks, but we will still be releasing 1 new comic every Wednesday up and continuing going forward, but even during the time of the contest we will be releasing new issues, so you'll be able to actually see what kind of work we're going to be doing and the jokes and what kind of we're going to do with this comic. You'll be able to see it going forward. So be sure to tune in to chroniclesoftyria.com/comic every Wednesday. So we hope to see your submissions, and again, submit them to comic@chroniclesoftyria.com. We are not accepting submissions anywhere else but there, because we don't want to risk you spoiling anything we might do with your character in the future. So that is that. Next up, I don't know if you saw this, Bromms. There was the optimization notes. Did you happen to see that?
I looked over them a little bit, yeah.
It's pretty interesting. They're going to be boosting a lot of the bandwidth in the game and tweaking the servers and adjusting the frame rate of the client. So we may be actually seeing decent, lag and skill lag updates to the game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. The skill lag thing is a big one. I'm also hoping that they can find some way to improve loading times, because I don't know if it's a problem for anyone else, but my loading times have gotten god awful lately. And I've done like everything I can find on the forums and everything to reduce the loading times. I've done that, and it just doesn't matter. Like, it takes me forever to load anywhere. So I'm hoping that some of these optimizations will help that a bit. But yeah, anything they can do to make the engine better is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited, and it's just nice to see that something like that doesn't fall by the wayside. Even almost 2 years into a game's development, they're still going to go in and fix the servers and bandwidth and everything. I think I saw somewhere in there someone asking if it's really cold where I am. It's cold, It's not super cold. It's also like Saturday morning, and the heat's, starting to warm up the house, because, But I mean, you can't really see it. Actually, maybe if I tweak my webcam, you can. Behind me, that's my window. You see how that's all white over there? That's not light. That's snow. There's no light coming in here. That's just all coming through the snow outside. So, and we're supposed to be getting more snow on Sunday, so that's exciting.
Aren't we in like Winter Storm Titan or something ridiculous like that?
Attack on Titan, Winter Storm.
At least they called it something good this time. It's like, you're fighting Winter Storm? Ba-dum-ba-doo. Okay, good. Thanks for giving it that name.
Yep. Well, I mean,
at least it sounds epic.
It's a little bit more epic than PAX.
PAX.
That was the last one, so. Alright, this is probably the biggest bit of news that came out of ArenaNet recently, was the development of the Guild Wars 2 Atlas, and I know you just started looking at it, like, right before the show.
I did.
But I just linked it there in the chat, and for those of you who haven't seen it, apparently this is going to be how ArenaNet going forward is going to be releasing new information for their, like, patches. So it's kind of cool. It's like a scavenger hunt. You can go through and find all sorts of quirky little things, and there's like a little library that tells you how much stuff you have and haven't seen, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if I like this over the previous strategy, or the 2013 strategy of a physical release page, which I liked a lot, and I feel like that made it really easy for us on off weeks to speculate about what was going to happen. But in your little time spent with the Atlas, what do you think of it?
I think it's really cool. I mean, it has a lot of really awesome potential, I think, for them to not just release stuff in it, but kind of make people look around to find stuff. I think that's the fun part of it, is just looking around. Yeah, it's neat. I mean, I heard Atlas and I was like, oh, okay. But then when I looked at it, like, I was actually really impressed. So I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, they and like I said, I learned this from watching Wood and Potatoes channel, and I believe if you've gone through it, and I'll show some of it here in a little bit, but if you've gone through it, you'll know that some of those things are links to MMORPG's website, and like if you click the link, it'll take you to their website, and then they'll have sets of like, here's some coordinates you can enter, here's some other coordinates you can enter, and theoretically that's the only way you can find them, because those are hidden coordinates. But what I gather is streamers and Guild Wars community members will be able to make content for the Atlas themselves, and then they'll be able to kind of hide the little things with somewhere within like their streams or their videos. You'll be like, oh look, there's a coordinates, let me go enter that, and that's like, if we were to do that, then you would see like, oh, and that would link you to chroniclesoftyria.com, and then there would be other coordinates to take you somewhere else, kind of thing. That's what I gather it will be.
Yeah.
So I hope that's the case, and I hope we can get in on that and like create content. I mean, it doesn't seem like, from what I saw, the MMORPG stuff wasn't really creating content. They were just kind of like sponsoring the content, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like ANED gave them the content, and then they just kind of set up the linking system.
Yeah.
Because like Wood and Potatoes and Mad Visual had links in theirs, but they were to existing content, I think. So like I had found it already, but we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, it has a lot of cool. It seems like it has a lot of cool things that people could do with it. So, I'm sure they're gonna upgrade it and do more with it. Like, this is probably isn't the last thing we're gonna see. So.
No, and I think what I'm gonna try to do is, and bear with me here, guys, I'm gonna try to create a new screen region real quick to just show you two things.
Or everything's going to explode.
From the Atlas currently, because there's some stuff that shows about what'll be coming next week. So here we go. You're not going to see anything, and that's, I'm sorry. Screen. Yeah, look at that Inception design right there. Here we go. Okay. So I'm hoping this is working, everyone. I really am. I'm going to zoom in here on Lion's Arch. I'm catching up on the Twitch stream here. Nope, that's not it. How's it looking, Bromms? I can't see what I'm doing.
It looks like...
Yeah,
I think
alright.
we're good, actually.
Where is it?
Holy mother, it worked.
Ah, that's not what we want. Where is it? I'm sorry, guys. Oh, wait. Duh. Here we go. Alright, so this image right here that you're seeing on screen right now. This is one of the images that was released, and people are starting to speculate about this because it basically looks like a marionette wearing one of the new back pieces, and then also using the Aether hammer.
Yeah.
There it is, right there, for those of you watching live. So I don't know if that's what that's a new image, that's a new asset in the game for sure. So I don't know. And again, like if you were to click this will link you to MMORPG. But you know, you have this little library where it tells you interesting stuff. Like for instance, Captain Magnus the Bloody-Handed lost his eye in the battle for Lion's Arch because he used to have both eyes, and now you can get his eye patch in the gem store. But so that's a thing. And then there's this little video, which I guess I'll play right now for you guys.
These are dark days for Lion's Arch. All is ash and ruin, and destruction reigns supreme. Now is the hour of our greatest need. To all of you who hold Tyria dear and call it home, the time has come to gather as one and take back Lion's Arch in the name of freedom.
Final battle begins March 4th. There we go. Alright, now... And we're back. Okay. I didn't want to inception you guys too much with, like, all the screens going into itself. But yeah, so that's like the teaser trailer for the next patch. So... and I'm looking at Aster and everybody's kind of agreeing. Apparently, Captain Magnus yells, "My eyes," when fighting the champion Molten Berserker, and you're assuming that's what caused his eye to disappear. And I'm gonna agree because I don't remember that happening. So, good catch, guys. I also I'm gonna inception you guys 2 more times because there's these other things and they are pretty funny. So we're gonna make this full screen. This is something that ArenaNet released on their Facebook page. Bromms, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but it's this, like, we're gonna fight, like, there's, like, all the hands coming together, we're gonna fight together thing. And then there was, like, you know, the map, and it has, like, all of their hands.
I didn't see the map one, but I saw the Together We Win. I so badly want to get that
Here,
as, like, an actual
you should be able to
poster.
see it on the Twitch stream now, where it's like a map with all the like Marjorie, Casimir, you can see Timey's hand and Bromms and Rox's hand, and it's like a map of what we're gonna do and like the attack escape plan. So pretty cool looking, right? Well, our favorite villain, Scarlet Briar, she would not let that go unnoticed. So if you look at her Twitter account, in response to that map being posted, she responded, "At Guild Wars 2, you're making this too easy." to that photo post that they put up on their Twitter. So, good old Scarlet, always watching, and it should be coming up live for you to see right now, Bromms.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Interesting stuff. But yeah, so anyway, that was that. I thought that was pretty funny. And just recently, actually, Guild Wars, they posted up on their site, March is daily sales in the gem store in March. Each day in March, we're running special promotions in the gem store. You'll get 31 chances to save big on different gem store items or pick up a popular item from the past. Each sale begins at 12:01 a.m. and ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're starting things off at 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st with a 10% price reduction on collection expanders. Check the promotions tab in the gem store every day in March to see your daily savings. And the images they show are Black Lion Key, the collection expansion, and Casimir's staff skin. So, be on the lookout for that, because sales every day, always a plus.
Yeah, definitely.
And last up, you have a link that you put in there about lore, so I'm going to let you take that.
Yeah, this was actually, it was posted in the lore section, and let me just get to the actual part where it was important. Some people were asking questions about why the crate actually joined up with Scarlet, and there was a response from their narrative designer.
Okay.
Of course, I just lost it. Hold on one second. Internet's not working. Okay, here we go. So let me link this in chat, because there's a lot there, and I think if I just read it, we'd all be here bored out of our minds for like an hour. But yeah, so basically there's information on why they decided to have the crate join up with Scarlet, and they answered some of the questions like, why did the crate not take the obelisk shards when they could have? Why are the rest of her alliances working with her? Why did the crate stay with her after their prophet died? So it's just some really cool answers from people that worked on the story that explain some of those things that might not make sense as far as the lore is concerned. So it's worth a read. It's pretty interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I actually didn't I saw you put it in there, but I didn't get a chance to take a look at it. So
the one that I liked the most is it's this number 3 question, like why did they stay with Scarlet after their prophet died? And this is, let me give her name out. It's Angel McCoy. She's the narrative designer. Yep. And she wrote, as you may have noticed, the crate were profoundly changed during their interaction with the Nightmare Plant and Scarlet. They're no longer the same creatures they were. They acquired a new look, new skills, and new behavior. Scarlet gave them their prophet as promised, and may be able to do it again one day. Who was it that killed the prophet?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Wow. Well, we whipped through that.
I know.
That was our whole set of show notes. We did that in 40 minutes?
Super speedy.
Yeah, that's right. That's how we roll.
I know. It's because we're on, like, Saturday morning sugar rush. Well, I'm drinking freaking Mountain Dew. So.
I'm on 0 sugar. I'm on 0 caffeine for the past 3 days. It's the worst. I'm doing this. Trying to start off being healthy. It's coming up to Comic-Con season. You know, it's like convention season, so you need to start fitting into costumes. So it's time to start working out and stuff like that. So I'm on this awful 3-week. It's not awful actually. It's all right. It's a 3-week cleanse, but it's like no processed food, no caffeine. So I've been sleeping like 13 hours a day because I don't have caffeine. Like I get home and then like 8 o'clock at night I'm out because I have no energy because I have no caffeine anymore.
Yeah, I can't give up caffeine. I stopped even trying.
You know what? What's weird is I gave it up and I don't have caffeine withdrawal headaches yet. It's been like 3 days. 4 days.
Yeesh. I don't know.
Yeah. So,
well, next week should be huge because it's technically the wrap up of the Living Story, right? Like that's everything kind of culminates in next week's patch. Am I right on that?
Yeah. No, the battle for Lion's Arch begins next week, and that will be the 4th, and then the following week, the 11th, is like I think that's the feature patch, where they're going to be dropping all the updates. Or no, I'm sorry, the 18th rather, 2 weeks after.
No, I think the 18th is not the feature patch.
No.
I saw something about it, and I forget if they said it was or wasn't on the 18th now, because they're doing a bunch of a bunch of updates as far as PvP is concerned. Like they're starting to roll out some different stuff.
Right.
And I don't remember.
And that also
does.
It's also going to be, I think, all the updates, the glory removal, the balance patches to the professions. But I thought that was also the feature patch. Like, from what I gathered, this was going to be like 0 lore related stuff, and it was just like all maintenance.
Yeah. You know what? We'll have to look in and report back, because I honestly don't remember if they said it was or wasn't.
Well, people are saying in the chat that this is obviously the maintenance patch, where we're going to see a lot of adjustments to the professions. Maybe this is where we'll see the new elite skills for the professions, possibly.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you had taken a look at it or not, but part of the CDI thing they're doing is they had a poll out a couple weeks ago, and people had to put like what 3 classes they thought needed the most work.
Yep.
And Ranger won by a landslide.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So there's a big post up now on basically what changes they want to see to the Ranger class. But they're going to start doing that with all the classes, which is going to be interesting. So there could be some really big stuff coming down the road for all the different classes, which is cool.
And I'm actually seeing in chat, and thank you for the confirmation. The feature patch, I guess, apparently has not been detailed. Like, the date has not been detailed. But I thought that was going to be the 5th patch. Like, after 4 to finish the Scarlet arc, then the feature patch. But I guess it's going to be that. Then it's going to be a maintenance patch on the 18th with the removal of glory, probably the profession balances, maybe some tweaks to World versus World. Maybe we'll get account-wide world experience then. Who knows?
Yeah.
But from what I do gather is this is no lore, no PvE story is what it seems to me, and it's just maintenance. And I'm okay with that, as long as they come out and say that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And don't because if you recall, in the past I've mentioned, why can't we shoehorn some of these updates and stuff into the lore somehow? But if this is just straight maintenance, and they're like, we're just maintaining the game this patch, that's it, don't mix in any lore, just go maintenance, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But as long as it's done that way.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice. Like, I've done the Lion's Arch stuff a decent amount of times, but it feels like everyone's focused on that now, so there's really not anything else going on in the rest of the game. And I think it'll be nice just to have a break. I mean, I guess we had kind of a Living Story break over the holiday season, but
yeah.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of stuff to wind down for. Excuse me. There's gonna be a lot of stuff to wind down from, like, once the Living Story ends. So I'm sure there'll still be plenty to do. It's just not gonna be, in your face Living Story stuff.
All right. Yeah. Jal's here saying Battle for Lion's Arch patch, maintenance patch, World v World Season 2 ? I need to check on World v World Season 2 patch day though. They announced it a while back. But I don't know. 26th of March, somewhere around that. Well, we'll see.
26th of March is awful close to the 1st of April.
For those of you who are unsure, I was going to say why he's freaking out, that would be the Super Adventure Box, which...
I love Super Adventure Box.
And you know what? Honestly, Battle for Lion's Arch, I haven't been that interested in it. I played it, like, hardcore, like, the first 2 days, and then I just, like, walked away from it. I logged in last night and got the... for like a half an hour, I played one Battle for Lion's Arch. I went around and got all the rebel locations, so I got that achievement. And I managed to get escorting all the MOAs out, and got that one where none of them died. So
nice.
I was proud of that. And this is something I actually wanted to mention. I don't know if this happens if they all survive or not, but you know how when you go out, there's certain NPCs that you can, like, interact with from Lion's Arch? Like, if you go to Ermog from Ermog's Secret, and, like, I helped the ogres escape in that. And I went to him, and he gave me 50 silver. He's like, thanks for helping me get out. Here's 50 silver.
Really?
And I talked to the NPC right next to him, Tip or Mip or whatever the sir is who runs the MOA racing.
Yeah.
And I saved all the MOAs, and I went to talk to him, and I could buy Swift MOA feathers from him, which I couldn't buy any other time. Because the MOAs escaped, it was like a nourishment, like, not a food, but like the tonic type thing, and it just gives you swiftness for half an hour. So like
that's so I assume that those aren't there if you fail those events.
I assume, or like if you don't, like I don't ever remember going to him specifically, but I was looking for the belonging NPC. So like I was just talking to people in a row, and Urmog's like, "Oh, do you want this? Here's 50 silver for helping save me." So he did, and then I went to the other NPC next to him, and it was the Asura, and he's like, "Thank you for helping with my moas." And then he had Swift Moa Feathers, which it's swiftness for a half an hour, and you have to be level 15 to use it. So, I mean, that's not a bad thing to have, especially if it works in World versus World. You could just use an item to give yourself a level 15 or higher character swiftness for half an hour. I mean, that's all it gives, nothing else.
Yeah.
But still. But yeah, so I don't know if that's only if you pass it. I don't know if that's only if all the MOAs survive or whatever. But I just thought that was kind of cool. So I'm assuming all of the NPCs, like Lost and Mariner and all them, like if you help them escape and you find them after that most current event happens, they'll have they will have different dialogue, I know that, but I guess some of them have certain items and stuff you can only get from that.
Yeah, Tully's saying that there's a child in Gandarian fields that gives you a drawing if you saved the children. So I assume that that's probably the case with all those different events, which is awesome.
Okay, wow.
I have to say, like, I haven't done the rescue mission very often. Like, I think I said I've probably done it 10 or 11 times now. I really like how it works from an event standpoint. Like the fact that they basically destroyed Lion's Arch, the fact that you get to go in there and actually save people is awesome, and I like how they did all of that. I think really my only negative thing is that it happens on a certain time frame every time, and it's really quick, which is probably good for some people, but my real frustration with it is that in order to get into the main server, you basically have to not participate in the pre-events that lead up to it, because if you do, you're not going to get in the main server, and if you don't get in the main server, there's a good chance you're not going to get the 1,200 citizens saved.
Yeah, I actually did that last night. I got that, so that was cool.
Yeah, but like as far as the event is concerned, I really like it. I can't do it like more than twice in a row because it's just too much sometimes, but I think they did a good job with it. Yeah. As far as a save the city event, it's really fun, and it's rewarding. Like I've made a ton of money off of this event, and I haven't done it that much.
Yeah, so, you can make a decent amount of money.
Yeah. I can't stop eating drawings.
I mean, what else do you do with them? Like Thimble's Edge said, they must not have fridges because they have no place to put the drawings.
I still have the first one that we got back at Flame and Frost, and it's in my bank. I'm never going to use it ever, just because. But the other ones I ate because I like Magic Find.
Well, so I'm gonna say we're probably gonna close this out, but because I have to go take my puppies to the vet, just a checkup. They're fine. Don't worry. But actually, I did just get the notice there from Sam that the speed Doodle is up. So how about that, folks? There it is, live here for you. I'm gonna accidentally click
if that
an
is
ad
a script. Oh, it is a script guardian. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. Script Guardian. I really should get an ad blocker so I can get. Actually, that's a pretty good Spanish Domino's pizza ad up in the corner there. $5.99 for pasta or wings. It's pretty good.
Alright.
But yeah, so here you go for the shinies, the narcissistic Script Guardian, and good old Son. If you like more of Son's art, you can see all these awesome podcast speed doodles here in the corner. The fan art pack.
And if you submit to the contest, she might draw your character.
Yeah, here's
for a long time actually.
Yeah. That's I should mention that actually. One of the prize for winning the contest to be in the comic is not only being in the comic and having your character be represented in the comic. There will also be a portrait drawn by Son of your character. So that's super awesome.
Yes.
So you should definitely check that out.
Does the comic have like an official name, or is that waiting until?
It is currently not decided because we haven't come up with it yet. So we're waiting until we have all 5 characters done before we come up with a name.
You should call it Comics of Tyria. It's like perfect.
Well, I mean, one of the titles we have potentially as a title is Working Title. Like, that's the name of the comic.
Right. Hey, maybe you can get people to suggest things for you.
Yeah, actually, there you go. There's a good question of the week for you guys.
Boom.
Not promising we'll take it, but what do you think would be, based on the 2 issues of the comic that you've seen and the character profiles that are out, what do you think would be a good name for our webcomic? Submit the answers.
The adventures of 5 people as they walk around Tyria exploring things that were fun to them.
I wanted to name
That's
it Party of 5, but Son was against it. So
probably for good reason.
But you know what? Here's another. That's question of the week 1. Kind of it. Submit the answers at hosts@chroniclesoftyria.com or anywhere that you can get a hold of us. Facebook, Twitter. Don't do YouTube because Google Plus comments are the worst. Trying to find them is almost impossible. Citrus Robot.
Like Citrus Robot suggestion. Comic.
I guess that's if Scarlet was naming our comic. But
that's awesome.
But also, here's another thing. For those of you, I'm calling out to the 38 people of you that are watching us live right now. Do you think that it would be beneficial, and would you like to see us do a show once a month on Saturday? Right now, our numbers are about, or maybe even a little bit higher depending on the day, than we do get on Thursday night. If this does work out for you, please send us an email, let us know, contact us somehow, so that we'll know. And like I said, if this works out and people like it, we'll do 3 weeks will be Thursday nights, and in 1 week we'll do a Saturday. We'll try to figure out what it is. Maybe we'll try to do the last Saturday or like the second Saturday so that it's static, so you'll know when it is. But if you like this and you like to see this happen again going forward, please let us know and we'll make it a thing.
I can't talk today. Sorry, jeez.
You all right?
I see what happened was I was going to talk, but instead I inhaled a bunch of air. Apparently, I don't know how this works. I've only been alive for not long enough.
Apparently.
I was going to say, it's interesting. It's kind of cool to do this on the Saturday morning, because usually when we finish the podcast, I have to go right to sleep, basically, because I have to get up in the morning for school. But now, I have my whole day. I can do whatever I want, and it's nice. I like it. It makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to figure out the logistics and talk to the Relics of War people and see when they're doing stuff.
Don't do it at the same time. Relics of War, they not do it at the same time as us.
That's right. But yeah, and if we did want to do an after show or something, it's Saturday, so it's not like we're staying up super late. Or if we're like, hey, we're gonna head in game and then stream, meet us in game, and let's go do something, then like people can come because it's Saturday. But anyway, let us know what you think. If you want us to do this once a month, we will try. We're still figuring out the logistics of this podcast and if we're going to have other people on and how we're going to work that out. But that's another story for another time. So, to close this out, for the 85, guys, 15 to episode 100, episode of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, I'm Lagywn.
I am Bromms.
And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys. I was trying to do Naveen's air guitar, but I can't do it as well as Naveen does it.
Yeah, that's alright. Now I'll take us off the air.